So this is the longer version. This is the more detailed version. This is a version that I'm sure a lot of people are more interested in. It is perhaps the trippier version because of what its surgery is like. You ride, you pay, do one less test to confirm your prescription, you get your Valium, they get your painkiller, they bring post-op to you, etc. You meet your surgeon because your doctor and your surgeon are not always the same person. And then you get your blue hat and your little booties and all in your sweater and stuff, and you have your name tag with your name upside down so the surgeon can read it when you're lying down. If I'm lying down, the surgeon's right here. You go in, the room is cold, you lie down. Note, they don't let you talk. They will not talk about other things to distract you. Not supposed to squeeze, so you can't really be like making fists. So I ended up going like this instead. And I'll cross your leg, and I kept moving my head, so I got to the point where he just held my head in place, which is totally cool because he knew what needed to be done. Put anesthetic drops on you, of course, before anything happened. First machine, circle, and then more circles inside, and within each circle are a lot of white dots that make it appear kind of like a chandelier or the mouth of an angry evil fish demon, depending on what your inclination is. The whole thing is outlined in blue, a bright blue light, and then in the center there's like darkish over here, and then at least it appeared to me to be like a light greenish sort of line in the middle. When it turns on, all those little dots turn white because they're lights. And then there's a blue one there, and it's slowly lowering itself down your eye, and you feel very much like you are in an alien movie and someone is about to probe your eye, which is essentially what they're going to do. Before it goes down, they have to open your eye up, right? So cover this one up with this like plasticky thing that has like crack-like holes in them so your eye can breathe, and they tape it to your face. And this eye generally just closes. So the machine starts going down, the lights turn on, you feel like you're in an episode of the X-Files or something. You're like, holy crap, holy crap. Keep this eye open. They do a variety of things. I can't remember if they taped for the first machine. No, they did. I'm pretty sure they have different contraptions, I believe, for each machine, I think, to better fit the machine. Essentially, for me, they put this big plastic thing in my socket that kept my eye open and in place. Eyelids, I did not realize this, but they were pulled back by metal hooks. I did not know. Stop touching my eye. That's a terrible idea. The operation room had a giant window and then a TV screen where you can watch people get operated on. My dad tells me they're hooks. And I didn't feel them, so don't worry about that. If you're worried about feeling all pinchy and things, you don't feel them. The suction cup comes in. There's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I'd say it hurt. It was very uncomfortable. It was not a sensation I would look for ever again. It feels like something's pushing down really hard on your eye. Not to the point where you're like afraid for your eye, but to the point where you're like, ow. That's when they're cutting it, and they start counting down then. Okay, 30 seconds for me. I think every machine is a little different. My machine was 30 seconds. They would count down. I just remember them distinctly saying 17, and then 15, 10, and 5. And those were the longest 30 seconds of my life for each eye. I guess it was the longest minute. Really freaky because, and they tell you every step of the way what's going to happen, but it doesn't really, it's not enough warning sometimes. The second eye you're cooler with because you know what's going to happen, maybe, or you might be more freaked out depending on who you run. But they warn you you're going to black out. You really do. I've never blacked out before for any reason whatsoever. I've never fainted. I've never gotten blackout drunk. No reason to black out ever in my life. So this was the only time I've ever seen my vision black out. And it happens when they're cutting the cornea out. I don't know why this happens, but it does. I'm sure someone can explain it to you, or the internet can explain it to you, but I don't know. But yeah, it all kind of blacked out. I was like, it's all the way back. It was weird, because you have like the blue and the white lights, and then it kind of just like the black just eats it all away. And for a period of time, everything was black. The last, I think, 10 to 15 seconds of the cut is black. And it was weird. At first, it was a little freaky. The second eye, once I knew what was happening, I was like, wow, I feel like my eyes are closed. In those last 10 seconds wasn't that uncomfortable. And then, for some reason, I think the machine finishes whatever it's doing, starts to retract, and then suddenly your vision kind of comes back very quickly in the same sort of E fashion way, except it goes, for me, it went in the opposite direction. So it's blacked and then colored. It was weird. At that moment, I remembered I had giant plastic things in my eye, taping it and everything, and you're like, oh crap, there's stuff in my eye. I just remembered that. That's right. This is weird. Then they take it out, and it's pretty much, take it out, and oh, you can blink. Close your eye real quick. Let's do the other one. And you're like, oh dear, giant plastic thing going towards me. But yeah, that's essentially the first machine. Alien machine comes, plastic cup in your eye, pressure, blackout, color, no more plastic cup, cover, next eye. Those 30 seconds were stressful because those are the 30 seconds you actually feel things. You don't feel a whole lot. You just feel the suction on your eye. But it's still really weird. Second machine. It is less alien looking than the first one, but slightly more intimidating because this one feels like a test. They put another plastic thing in your eye and they tape your eyelids, and I think they're hooks again, and this one's all covered. There's no break in between machines. It's kind of like, next machine. You don't get a minute to breathe or anything. It basically is, again, another big circle. You are to follow the machine with the orange light. And the orange light starts moving around, so you're just following it, and you're told to follow with your eye until you cannot anymore. And this sounds like a simple job, except you can't blink, and the light is blinking. And eyes don't naturally like looking at blinking lights. So you want to blink, but you can't. So you just start crying. And it's not like a kind of crying. It's more just like a water gushing out of your eyes crying. Everything starts to double or triple or quadruple. For me, it quadrupled to that point until I could no longer see the dot because there was so much water in my eye that it was done. But usually by that point, the machine, I think, has finally finished tracking your eye. I think that's the point of it. I don't actually know. Now it's time for the lasers. And this is the really trippy part. This is the part where I didn't realize you could see such things. And so, anyway, the cornea flap. Remove the flap with those those sticks with the little hooks at the end, those metal ones that they use to like poke at you, especially your teeth. These are made for your eye apparently, and they move the flap. If it's done right, you should not feel a thing. And my left eye didn't feel a thing. I didn't realize they had removed it actually until logic hit me, and I was like, oh no, they must have removed it because it makes no sense. The right eye felt it, not a whole lot. It felt like someone was like tugging, like this kind of tug. And so I was like, because I didn't feel like I should have felt that. And then they were like, crap, we're anesthetics. So like 4 to 6 drops in my eye, and then they removed it, and I didn't feel it. Flap just kind of puts aside. And at some point, again, before or after this flap removal, which, by the way, blurs everything, the orange light centers itself on your eye, right? So you're just kind of staring at this orange light, and it's still blinking. And literally all you see is black, nothing but black, and this flashing orange light, which is blurry, so it looks kind of like a flashing flower star. All you see is that for a second, and you're just like, okay, this is weird. It doesn't ever go out, it just intensifies and intensifies and intensifies, and it's a very soft pulse, and it doesn't hurt to stare at it or anything. It's just very weird. And then the lasers start. The lasers are in a circle, again another circle, and they're blue dots. And there's lots of blue dots, and they start blinking really fast. They make a type of sound, except considerably more machine-like. And those are the lasers. Apparently, what the machine does, it kind of just targets different parts of your eye. But it's doing them all, and it's kind of knowing what it's, it knows what it's doing, but it's just kind of fixing what needs to be fixed. And meanwhile, you're just staring at this orange flower pulse light thing, and then the blue dots that you see that don't ever blink, they're just kind of there making sounds. Then, as this light is going, in between the blue dots and the orange light, there is a soft sea green border, very thick, very strange. I figured out later it was the green circle that we saw in the beginning. At the time, I was just like, there's this green circle here, and everything is still on black. And then the orange light, flower, star thing, still going in the middle. You're supposed to stare at that dot. Your job, keep staring at that dot. Because as long as you're staring at that orange thing, you're cool. You can smell it. People have described it as the smell of burning hair. Well, to me, it was more of just like the smell of mechanics. Kind of just smelled like, to me, like what the smell of a drill would be, the type that you put in your teeth. I'm pretty sure that's the smell of your eye burning. You don't feel it, you just smell it a little bit. I didn't want to smell it, so once I started smelling it, I started breathing through my mouth. And once they're done with that, and that doesn't take very long at all either, the machine goes away, like the sound stops, the blue dots go away, the green washes away, and the orange light stops making so much. And the machine starts to back off, and they're like, okay, now we're going to put your cornea flap back on. It's going to feel very cool. They put the flap back on, and it is very cool. It's very refreshing. And they're just tears just come out of your eyes, just like involuntarily. They're just water falling for a second. It's very strange to feel that. It's just like coolness crap. And then they tell you to close your eye very gently, and then you do the other one. And when that one's done, close your eye very gently, and you get like 30 seconds or less to just like lie there. You lie there for a second, and they're like, all the machines go away, and you straighten up to the center again, so the machines are on either side of you. And they're like, all right, can you open your eyes and sit up slowly? I, of course, said, I don't know if I can open my eyes. And they said, can I sit up first? And they said, it might be better if you opened your eyes first. So I opened my eyes very slowly, and then I sat up very slowly, and I got out of the chair very slowly, and they led me to my room where they were going to test me and look in my eye with lights and things. Make sure that the flap was all good. So far, so good in that sense. Yeah, that's what the actual operation is like in excruciating detail.